In Pokemon TCG Pocket, there will be 3 different ways to obtain cards in other languages. I say will be because trading isn't being added until after the global release on October 30th. So for now, there's only 2 ways to collect cards in the 9 languages available at launch, which are Japanese, English, French, Italian, German, Spanish, Brazilian, Portuguese, traditional Chinese, and Korean. I'll have a video all about trading once we learn everything about it. But until then, let's focus on the 2 methods you can actually use right now, which were designed to make the collectaholics spend even more time in the app. Before we get started though, if you click on the offering rates before opening a pack, there's a couple of important notes. First, the language of the cards will be the app's selected language at the time a pack is open. And second, the language of cards already obtained will stay the same as it was at the time they were obtained, and will not be affected if the app's selected language is changed after they were obtained. What this means is that you can change the in-game language for Pocket to claim cards in other languages. I hope you renewed your Duolingo subscription because I sure didn't. And yes, I had to watch back the footage of me changing to French in order to switch it back to English. Thankfully, it's all very simple and doesn't require much understanding of the other language. To do this, simply go to Menu by tapping the icon in the bottom right, click Other, then Settings, and finally Language Selection. Choose your desired language, and that's it. You're kicked back to the home screen, but as soon as it loads, it will be in that new language. And when you open your next pack, all the cards you pull will also be in that new language. You can see me opening this Charizard pack, which includes an Illustration Pinsir, a Vulpix with the Mimikyu attack, Grilled Patties, Magmar, and a Vileplume, because Pocket knew I was recording and finally gave me a good pack after 5 nothings in a row. While I show off my card collection, you might notice something interesting. As mentioned earlier, outside of battle, cards will remain in the original language they were pulled. So most of the cards in my collection are in English because that's what I've been playing in since moving to New Zealand. That being said, the Sizzlipede shows up in French by default right now, as that's the current system language, though I do have 8 English copies as well. Meanwhile, inside of a battle, every card on the field will be changed to whatever your system language is. So it doesn't matter if all the cards in your deck are in Spanish. If your system language is set to English, they'll appear in English. The same thing holds true for your opponent's cards. They will always appear in whatever language you have Pocket set to. Now that I've switched back to English, I can show you how to view cards in other languages, which is easier than making a Lopunny fall in love with you after feeding her some Poffins. All you have to do is go to My Cards, then click on a card. In this case, clicking on that Sizzlipede I pulled earlier now shows the English version by default. But by tapping on the globe icon at the top of the page, all the different language versions I own appear. After tapping whichever one you have, that version will show up. Moving to something like the Illustration Rare Pinsir from the pack I just opened, I only have the French version in my collection, so that's the only one that will show up when I search for it. The other method you can use right now to get cards in other languages is through wonder picking. By adding someone using another language to your friends list, you'll be able to see packs they've opened when you go to use wonder pick. For this example, I wonder picked a Skidoo from a French player which was added to my collection. Just like with Sizzlipede, you can go back to My Cards, click on the globe, and see alternate language versions of the card you pulled from Wonderpick. Because changing languages can be tedious, my advice is to add as many people to your friends list from around the world, assuming you care about this kind of thing. Otherwise, wait for trading and hope that simplifies the process of obtaining cards in other languages. To quickly sum 41 things up, if you wonder pick a card from somebody else playing in a different language, you can add that alternate version to your collection. Additionally, you can manually change your game's language and open packs to get cards in other languages. But whatever the language you currently have Pocket set to will determine how it appears in battle. If you have any other questions, check out the FAQ posted on screen or ask away in the comments. And don't forget to see my huge Pocket starter guide for tips and tricks to help start your journey.